fuck around for 30 seconds.
All right.
Easy music.
Just let me know when it starts. Is this the? I'm hearing like some train horn in the background. Is that it?
It's a very autistic sound. Yes, it's created by an autistic man for an autistic show.
All right.
You'll hear it on replay.
All right.
All right, here we go. Welcome to the Difference Is You show. We've got William Thao. Did I butcher your name or did I pronounce it okay?
No, you're good. Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly how you pronounce it.
Okay. What nationality? Chinese, Vietnamese, where?
Oh man, it's I would ask you to guess, but
Thao? Man, Thao. I would say from the name I would say Vietnamese.
no.
No, I would guess
there's
wrong
there's
then.
not many of us down here
Okay.
in Southern California,
Yeah.
so it's very rare for anyone
Oh,
to.
it's a rare one, man. You could have
Not
told
really.
me that one. That would
Well,
have
rare in Southern California.
Okay, that would have X'd out a lot of guesses, but go ahead, man. Inform
But
the
yeah,
crowd.
I'm originally from Fresno, so
Fresno,
and
okay.
so there's a lot of Hmong there, and
Hmong,
basically
okay.
I am Hmong.
Okay,
So
I
there's
am
a lot of Hmong.
familiar. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, of course. And then there's a lot of
Yeah.
Hmong people in Fresno, and Sacramento and up. So that's where a lot of us are at.
Okay.
And I came down here, 2011 after high school for college. So I went to Cal Poly Pomona, for a graphic designing degree.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me on your show.
Oh, of course. No, I feel like you're doing me the favor. I just have the privilege of having had like a personal one-on-one demo of the software. I don't expect you to go into that today, but I did want to give you an opportunity well, that was a perfect segue. That's what you kind of went to school for. Graphic design leads you to now you're, I don't know what your title, I would say something like marketing.
It's marketing.
Yeah. Right. Marketing director for this company. And from the website, the easiest way I can introduce it is automating video editing. That's kind of, if you have to put it into one sentence, right? And then I'll let you kind of elaborate from there. You know more about the software obviously than I do.
Sure. So yeah. So Kamua is basically a browser editor that helps reduce your video editing time.
Okay.
It's a tool that you use alongside with any other programs such as Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro 7, 10, et cetera, whatever you like to use. But the main purpose of it is to cut down your editing time, to make things go faster, not replace the creative himself, because it still need a creative to operate, the tool. So, because, the creatives still have to make the judgment of, okay, this shot looks good, this soundtrack looks good, this color looks good. The creative is still required. Kamua is powered by AI. We have several different neural networks that powers it, that makes different decisions on the way it operates. And I'll go into the features in a bit as well. Our main target audience are, basically, video editors who looking to cut down time on their process, their work time, and also marketers who knows a little about video but doesn't want to spend a lot of time in a professional video editing program, right? The purpose of most of the time a marketer wants to, all right, I want to choose these shots, these clips, and I want to put them together and create multiple videos for social media. And I want to see how they perform each one. And I want to do that as fast as possible because, I'm on a deadline and our campaign's coming up and I have to test these videos to see which one's the most effective. And Kamua is the best tool for that purpose. So, yeah.
So I mean, sometimes I hear that and I'm like, man, that's kind of like everybody, everybody. You're right. That like who isn't trying to save a little bit of time editing these videos that like you really The biggest comment I wanted to go back to was working alongside some of these programs, right? So, that I think that's big. One maybe the first kind of obstacle you run into. Oh, someone's like, oh, I already have Premiere, and you just have an easy response with like, well, this is how you can use this alongside Premiere to still save you time or something like that, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly it. And to kind of go into the features,
Yeah.
right? So one of our main features that we started off with was, uh, it basically uploads
Mm-hmm.
basically analyzes your media, your video file, and it automatically detects all the cuts for you, such as
Mm-hmm.
transitions, wipes, fades in, fade black,
Mm-hmm.
or any cuts, any wipeaways.
Mm-hmm.
It will detect all of that stuff and say that, okay, this looks like a cut. We're going to cut that for you.
Okay.
And in a comparison, for a video editor to do that manually in Premiere Pro, that would take them, a few hours just to cut
Mm-hmm.
probably a 5 to 10 minute video, a couple hours just to do that. And I used to do video editing as well, and
Mm-hmm.
I know that it takes a while to just get the right, just to like cut the right snippet and add it to your timeline.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a while. Um, and with Kamua, that's one of our features where you can upload and it cuts everything for you.
Mm.
And your responsibility as a creative who's using the tool, all you have to do is select the shots or shots or clips that you want, and just drag it onto your timeline
Mm.
and say, I want this shot, I want that shot, and you know I want to turn this into a Twitter portrait mode and story. So it's like, okay, you can do that very quickly just by changing the aspect ratio
Mm-hmm.
in our tool settings, and you get all those within a few clicks of a button. And if you compare that to Premiere Pro or some of the other professional video editing programs, you will have to create like a new layer and then drop in your file and then change the settings and then queue it for render.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That takes a while to do, and you still have to crop the footage manually, and if you have a moving subject in that video, you have to
Mm-hmm.
do that manually.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Premiere Pro has their reframe feature, but then it's not always accurate, and it's also using in hardware. So if you
Mm-hmm.
have an older computer
Mm-hmm.
and you're using that reframe, it's not going to be as accurate,
Okay.
or it's going to take a longer time. Whereas Kamua is all cloud based.
Mm-hmm.
We're utilizing Google infrastructure, so we're using their GPUs.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're using Kamua at all, your hardware is not your hardware is basically just running the browser.
Mm-hmm.
All the hardware is through Google's GPUs. So it's processing all those data for you, and you don't have to worry about it. You can close a tab, you come back later, and it's done.
Mm.
You don't have to worry about your computer crashing and
Mm-hmm.
not being saved. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that many of us forgot to save our work and
Of course,
and our
man.
program crashes, and it's like I just lost 3 hours
Yeah.
of work.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would suck, right? So
I mean, we've all been there in some form or fashion, whether, it's video editing or some other big blunder that you didn't save, right?
yeah.
That you just lose that. Could be just messing with the spreadsheet and like, oh my God, I just did not save.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, no, we all know that feeling. So
Yeah.
is there some kind of autosave feature or like at every step of the way, or
Yeah, there is
you
an
know
autosave feature
that's
every
good.
step of the way. So
That's a good
anything you do,
feature.
you move one shot to the timeline or move one shot to the other. You move shots between, you move the clips between like on the timeline. It'll save all of that, and then all you have to do is just if you accidentally close your browser, it's like, oh, you can just log back in and it'll be right there where it was.
Okay. So and I'm guessing, I'm not really familiar with this whole, like I'm not. See, I don't even use the latest version of Premiere that does what you're talking about, so I would have no idea to compare it. But is being cloud based. That means all the updates, everyone gets those in real time, right? So it's not like software you have to keep downloading over and
Yeah,
over again.
you get those updates immediately. All you
Yeah.
have to do is just we probably whenever we update our our tool or update Kamua,
Mm-hmm.
there's going to be like a little reload at the bottom left corner. You just press that, and it'll just reload for you, and
Okay.
then you get the newest version. There's no downloading. There's no reloading. Um, it happens instantly.
Yeah,
So,
and I think that just having that video play in the background for me it's great because it's like, well, that's kind of what it does, you know. It does a lot of other things, but in essence, you know, it converts what would be, you know, the DSLR, how you take it, and
yep.
then it automatically will repurpose it for you. And like if it's a sports figure, it'll track it. You don't
Yep.
have to spend the hours of time, you know, tracking his eyeball movement or whatever,
Yeah.
right? So that I imagine anyone like you said that's kind of done some of this stuff before can immediately see how it can take you from the raw footage to where you want to be. But sometimes it's hard to bridge that gap, right? If the person has no idea, right, then maybe that's not your target customer, right? Like
Yeah.
some newbie, like he's not even gonna know how to connect the dots right there. So yeah, so no, I do see how like it is a lot of people, but then some people it's just not for them because you have to kind of understand the steps that you're actually saving here, and some people are looking for like a complete just do it for me. This kind of is, you know, it kind of
Yeah.
depending on how much work the owner wants to do, but it is kind of like a point and click if he's willing to just download and upload some things, right? And click a
Yep.
few
Yep.
buttons in
Exactly.
between. Yeah,
And
so I think it's really cool. I don't Why don't you kind of share your journey in this because the people listening to this might just think they can go and sign up and pay. Even like right now, it's I don't even know where you're at in terms of people like wanting to give you money if they're even able to do that right now.
yeah, it's like so we start in beta phase.
Yeah.
We are accepting beta users. So you can basically go onto your website right now,
Yeah.
kamua.com,
Okay.
kamua.com,
Okay.
and request access.
Okay.
After requesting access, you come to our pricing table and you have three options, right?
Mhm.
And then you also have the option of using our coupon, which is
Mhm.
basically you can spend $1 for the first month to try
Mhm.
out to try out Kamua and to see how it saves your time and
Mhm.
be a benefit in your workflow for $1 for the whole month for $1, and that's all it takes. And you have access to all the tools,
Okay.
which is tracking, captioning, uh, adding text, color correction, audio. So that's all available to you for $1 a month.
Okay.
But if if you're like a serious agency owner, it's like okay, you can also sign up for uh, our agency program, or you can contact us. It's like, hey, I really want to see how this actually works out for
Yeah.
my team. I have a
Yeah.
team of 20 people, and we edit videos. We edit about 100 videos or
Uh-huh.
200 videos a month,
Yeah.
and I would like to kind of talk to a representative. And it's like, okay, sure,
Uh-huh.
just give us an email,
Yeah.
and we're more than happy to talk to you and see
Yeah.
how Kamua can really fit into
Yeah.
your workflow, because
Okay.
that's really where you know enterprises and agencies really see the actual benefits,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
usage, because we actually do hands-on demo where we walk every one of our customers kind of how the workflow and how much time it can save if they're trying to get 20 videos out within
Mhm.
the day, compared to the outputs they had before, where it'd be like 5 or 10.
Mhm. Mhm.
20 is a lot.
Are
If you
you,
have like,
it sounds like yeah, you're speaking from experience here.
oh yeah, yeah, it's like I said, like I used to edit videos, and
Uh-huh.
even editing like a few videos that are 30 seconds to a minute long,
Mhm.
that's going to take at least an hour
Mhm.
to do.
Mhm.
Like a minute video is like doesn't sound like a lot, but then when you're actually diving into it, it's like, okay, does it make sense? This is like, who
Mhm.
am I targeting? And then I have to crop this video for Instagram or portrait or story. It's like that rendering time is going to take a while as well. So
Mhm.
um, with Kamua, it's like you can just like, all right, I'm going to render these videos and then work on the next, open another tab, and then I can close this tab if I want, because I don't have to worry about my project stopping at all. and then open another tab. It's like, all right, I'm going to start on another project. So you can,
Mm-hmm.
quickly multitask and work on multiple projects at a time. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, where are you guys in terms of it's beta now, and what is there a timetable you're allowed to share with the public today?
Um, we're gonna be in beta for a few more months,
Okay.
as we kind of have quick have our tools kind of prepared,
Uh-huh.
and then also have our tracking system ready. So therefore, it's like if people come in, we I mean, if you're using Facebook or anything, it's like they know what you're doing. So we
Yeah.
have to set these things up
Uh-huh.
to make sure that we understand how our users are using our program,
Uh-huh.
and then making our features and UI UX are easy to use, easy to understand,
Yeah.
uh, as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Even if we started letting people in, you know, and they're like, what does this mean? What does output mean? What does this work? It's like, what does settings
It's
do?
possible.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like we want to minimize the
True.
confusion as much as possible before
Yeah.
we start letting the public in.
Of
Uh,
course. Yeah.
because once we start letting the public in without correcting those small things, it's like they're gonna go onto the review page and go onto G2 or whatever, and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that's not a good start, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, no,
um,
that's good. See, I don't really know these things. It's it's not these aren't issues I think about on a daily basis. It sounds like you've given it a lot of thought, right?
yeah, I mean, we've been working on. I joined the team, so I joined Kamua about a year and 2 months now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, you know, when I joined the team a year ago, we there's still a lot of things that we it was working. We have the MVP working. We have majority of the main features working,
Mm-hmm.
but then it wasn't quite ready, for a lot of people to come in and start using it. It's like even our own team that goes in and use it every day. It's like, of course we know where everything's at, but then if we go in with a fresh mind, it's like, huh, if I think about this as a new user, this
Yeah,
doesn't quite make sense. It's
yeah.
like why do I have to click 3 times for this to work? Why can't I
Uh-huh.
just click it once?
That's
You
true.
know?
Yeah.
So, it has gone a long way. We have added a tons of features. We have made but we still have a few more miles to go to make sure that it's good. Well, not good, like yeah, you know what? Yeah, I will say good. So
Mm-hmm.
until it's good, it's for everyone to kind of come in, start using it. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I get it. This makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saving time. I'm using this with DaVinci. I'm using this with Final Cut Pro. I'm using this with iMovie, Premiere Pro, whatever, and it's really helping me save time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I find the value, and I'm more than happy to pay $25 a month or
Mm-hmm.
$100 a month,
Mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera. Right? So that's what we want. That's the reaction we want when we go live.
Okay, so what you're saying in exchange for being your guinea pigs, we get to use it for very cheap for the next few months until
Yeah,
you're comfortable charging full price for it, right?
yeah, exactly.
All
So
right.
yeah, so it's like as a regular user, you can go in right now and just like sign up. It's like, all right, I'll pay $1 just to
Yeah.
get started and
Yeah.
see what this thing's about. It's like I
Yeah.
saw this thing on Omar's podcast. I was like, I want to know what this thing's about, right?
All right. Well,
So
I mean, we'll obviously we'll have the links, but I can't guarantee you like the 5 people that watch the video. Please visit the link. For the love
yeah.
of God, click the link. Well, I mean, we could beat the horse to death. There's another thing that I don't mind going back and forth, and I don't know
Yeah.
how serious you are ever when you fill out these forms, but I asked if there's any cause that you care about, and you wrote repurposing thousands of pounds of food waste. Is that like a serious issue, or you're just trolling me here? I can't. I'm like I have
I
a hard
think
time.
I think
Yeah.
I was trolling you. I'm
Oh,
joking. I
okay. Yeah.
wasn't. I wasn't. It's
Okay.
like
Okay. Good.
it it it's a topic I'm still researching, and it's a topic that I am highly interested in. I mean, we have our population is continuously growing, right? We have billions of people on this earth, and and we also have ton of food that we produce that we throw away.
Of
You
course.
know,
Yep.
um, and it's like, okay, well, that food could have been and I know there's going to be like some food regulation stuff, like it may not be good, but then it's like or it's foul, or it can cause people to get sick, et cetera, and
Mhm.
people are liable for it. But it's
Mhm.
like, what if we can like, like do something with all the tons of food that a restaurant throws away that's
Mhm.
not in use? That's like, they can't sell it, they can't do anything with it. How can we repurpose that? Or when the production line, from the farm to the factories, there's tons of food that's get thrown away as well because they're in the wrong size or
Mhm.
the wrong color, or you know uh, look different, feel different. It's like they get tossed away. It's like
Mhm.
those food doesn't get anywhere else, and they may be used for compost or something like that. But it's
Mhm.
like that food could have been used for something. So it and it's the same concept as recycling, right?
Mhm.
How can we be more conscious of reusing our resources, the materials that we have.
Mhm.
I don't want to go. I don't want to go further into like space and stuff like that. But we can talk about space and everything. But we have limited resources, like in all the metals that we mine, to make certain things, trees and stuff like that. Is like, yes, we can always you know plant more trees, but then it takes a few years to get the the tree that was like used to make the table that we have,
Mhm.
the desk that we
Mhm.
have
Yeah.
to do things. Um, so yeah, it's just a. I just want to think of a. I just want to like get into like different organization, or bring up the discussions of ways that we can like really repurpose these food. Even if they're a little bit old or brownish, if we can like reuse that to toss it to donate to the food bank, or
Mhm.
uh, you know use it to feed uh, small communities, give it to people that are and needs it. Because with our growing population, it's like, how do we continue to feed all these people, right? It's like going back to Thanos. Is like, do you watch Avengers or anything like that?
I've been out of the loop for a few years. I don't.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna have to get me up to
but
speed.
spoilers alert, then
Okay.
spoilers.
All right.
If you have not seen it, it's too late. So the reason Thanos, I'll just cut a long story short. Thanos, wanted to destroy half the world, like half the universe, is because the lack of resources.
Mhm.
Um, because of the growing population. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, we're gonna wipe half the universe so resources will sustain longer. So it's like we have babies, people, our population is continuously growing, and
Mhm.
trying to come up with different ways to feed the population is going to be harder and harder in the future. So, uh,
Hmm.
finding ways to recycle, or not
Mhm.
recycle, repurpose wasted food,
Mhm.
and you know finding ways to reduce food waste. I think that
Mhm.
would be a way to really you know help feed more people, and not just waste food. So I don't know if that's a good reason, but that's just how I see it right now.
Mhm.
Until I actually dive deeper into you know it's not a situation, but into the topic. So, but
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, I mean, I mean, there's a lot of ways you can go with tackling this, right? It's just kind
Yeah.
of like how do you kind of focus on one area? There's just, there's so many areas.
Yeah, there are many areas. Like, sometimes um, people find usage for pineapple husk, or like skin. They turn that into pineapple leather.
Yeah.
Uh, so there's many ways of using uh, the byproducts
Yeah.
of food. Um, we just have to figure that out and see how that could be utilized, and or just store somewhere or cook it.
Have you like that right there? I was thinking if you just made a YouTube channel and just talked about little short ideas, like that, kind of just spreading awareness, starting out with little tips here and there.
I would.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
It just, as of right now, I don't think I'm a person who knowledgeable enough to have an opinion on that topic. No. I mean, I can blabber, I can like talk whatever and spit like all sorts of stuff out of my mouth, but then it's like, if I'm just barely looking into it and addressing my concern for it, it's like, well, you know, did you know that this? Did you know that? And like there'll always be people on the internet who's more smarter than you are, or you know, just more educated, not like not trolls, but then more educated and like, oh yeah, well, it's like we've been doing that, and this is what's happening. It's like, oh well, my bad.
Oh, good problems to have, man. Good problems to have.
What? You're right. Good problems to have.
For every one troll, you get 100 likes. You know, you deal with it. You deal
Yeah.
with it.
Maybe one day. I mean, maybe in the next few months, it's like, okay, I feel very confident about like, my perspective, in my opinions, and my solutions. It's like I think, I have a voice now, and I think people should listen to me because I feel important. I'm joking.
I say you just try to record a take where you don't bust out laughing and just see
It's
how
like
see
you
how it
say
goes.
food waste and start laughing.
The great thing about editing your own videos is you can make it look like however you want it to look like, right? So
Right.
I mean, yeah,
Like I have the solution to save, for food waste problem globally, and then
like
cut away.
I'll show you the I only have a few posture videos on my channel, but
Yeah.
I don't need to bring them up now for the purpose of this video, but you can go later and look. Yeah, I mean, you know as well as I do that whatever 15-minute segment, I was cut down for maybe a couple hours, right? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's just like I'm not trying to hide my cuts here, like, but you know, yeah, man, I'm just saying, kind of tie it back into the software playing behind us. That kind of, from what I hear, I haven't gone in there and used it. Like it'll like cut at the points, at the action points, right?
Yep.
So it kind of save me that process of having to do that, and then I can still go and review the actual scenes that I want, and then pull them out and use them in the creative that I want to use them for, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's exactly how it works. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, anyone that's ever edited their own video knows that like the first few hours is just spent doing that, right? Freaking okay, where are the points where I freaking clapped and messed up, right?
Yep.
Just like
Exactly.
right. So no, I'm actually really interested to get back in there and dig in and start. And now I'm a big fan of like just like you said, like I know a little bit about all these programs, right? But now I can go out and then use my DSLR knowing that I'll be able to edit it later, right?
Yep.
Just kind of knowing that I just have to get it in the frame now. So it's kind of like knowing that I have this tool behind me, then it'll kind of change, it'll kind of empower me to use my existing equipment, a little bit more liberally. Now before I'm just like, well, it's not even going to turn out good, so I don't even have a gimbal. Like, what's the point? Right. So now I can at least think, well, maybe I'll be able to get some usable footage, because I'm cropping it like this anyways. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Exactly. So it's like, even in the commercial industry, it's like when they're filming for a iPhone video or Instagram story video, like they have to film it a few times for a few shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they will film it wide, and then they will film it in like close up, because the reason they do that is like they have to make sure that it's like, okay, you can always shoot in 4K, but then you have to like also consider like, well, when you crop it into a portrait mode or iPhone, for like Instagram stories or whatever, it's like, oh, we just lost a lot of details. So it's like you kind of have to do that a couple times to kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, we film it in horizontal landscape, and then we'll do another take and close up, and we'll film it in vertical,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so therefore we still have the same story, but usable for different platforms.
Mm-hmm.
Like people, creatives, or anyone, it's like, okay, now I can just take my DSLR and film something pretty wide, but I'm pretty confident that, okay, I just need this one footage, and it's like, okay, I'll use Kamua or whatever program you want to use. But you can use Kamua to actually select the object you want to track, and whether you're walking from the left screen to the right. Oh, okay, I need to actually follow this person. You can actually leave your camera on a tripod and have Kamua to do the tracking for you. You don't have to move around to follow the person. Right? You can just just put it there. So
Bro, you know what you just magically in this conversation, right? I have this wide angle lens, right?
yeah,
That I very rarely use because I can't ever think of a good but now you just made me think this might be the perfect opportunity to bring it back out, It can just capture such literally a wide angle, and then it'll be like I have camera tracking put in after I cut it up, right?
yep, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
man,
Yep, yep.
I'm really looking forward to testing that out for another video. Look out for
Yeah,
that
definitely.
video, right? I'm gonna do that wide angle. It's the man. I forget the brand. It's the generic brand for the Nikon because most people use Canons actually. So it's when I meet other photographers and videographers, it's really hard to find like, hey, can I borrow? But I use Canon. I'm like, wow, so hard to find someone else who uses a Nikon these days.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I don't know.
yeah.
Nikon makes great cameras, but then my opinion is like they're a little bit behind on some technology stuff. So
Probably, man. They
yeah,
didn't think too hard when I went with it, Like, what? It's on
but
sale. Let's go.
you know, I'm a Sony guy, so
Oh, are you? Oh, okay.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I started off with the Canon.
Yeah,
I started off with the Canon.
yeah.
The T3i.
Uh-huh.
Back in the days, 2012. That was like the best entry level camera.
Uh-huh.
And then I was like, you know what? Sony came out with the mirrorless A7S II. It's like I want that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
Mm-hmm.
that. I was like, it was like the best low light camera. You can shoot that in the dark, and it'll capture anything in the dark, crisp
Wow.
and clean.
Wow.
For a consumer camera.
Yeah, yeah,
We're not mentioning Red, Alexa
yeah.
or Ari and stuff like that.
Okay.
As a consumer camera, for
Yeah,
to have that capability to shoot at night
yeah.
and have it come out super clear, it's like that's amazing.
Wow, okay.
That's like a videographer's
Wow.
dream. So now they have like a S7 III. It's like, it's sold out. It's
Wow.
completely sold out.
Is
Everyone,
that just the body of the camera?
that's just the body of the camera.
Wow. How much does the body go for retail?
I think right now, when it came out, I think it was about $6,000. So
What?
a little bit too expensive for a camera. So unless you're like, really serious about it, but then
What,
you can actually get an S2, about
what is it? Is it meant as a video or is it meant as
it's
a
meant for video. It's like specifically designed for
Oh,
video
okay.
and low light. Because one of the main problems with shooting videos at night is, the camera not capable of capturing the details. And
Yeah.
then if you boost up, let's say your ISO, the grain, you start seeing noise. You start
Yeah.
seeing
Yeah.
noise. It gets all like blurry and all these crazy snowflakes in the background. You don't want
Mhm.
that. So
Mhm.
the reason why this is the camera for videographers is because you can shoot at night and bring up your ISO to like 400,000, and it's just like it's clear. You don't have to worry about any of the snowflakes in the background at all.
Wow.
So
Wow.
yeah, that's why it's a great camera. But not trying to promote Sony here, but I'm just a fan.
Okay, so I'm very noob to this industry. So if I must ask some noob questions,
Sure.
is this like a shoulder mount or what is this 6K get me? What is this? I don't really know what I'm getting into here.
What is a shoulder mount?
I don't know, like a video camera that you hold on your shoulder,
No, it's
like
just a DSLR.
oh, it's like a handheld
It's just a
version.
handheld DSLR.
Wow, for 6K for the
Exactly.
body.
But in a compact
Oh,
body, and
oh.
yeah, it's just an amazing. I think it's an amazing
Yeah.
camera.
So I mean, so it's good for photography, right? It's built for
It's
both.
you can do photography in it.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it only has 12 megapixels.
Okay.
Most if you're just like a casual
So
photographer,
it was built for video though, that's what you're saying?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
gotcha. Okay.
If you're like a casual photographer, it does the job. And I was a casual photographer, and it does the job. I don't
Wow.
need the extra stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're like a hard on, like a that's a weird word to use, but if you're like a
Yeah. Yeah.
hardcore photographer
Yeah.
and you're a Sony fan,
Yeah.
you should get the A7R3. I think they have the R4 now. I'm not sure, but then the R3, because that will have the photography capabilities that a photographer will want, where it has almost 50 megapixels, etc., etc.
Wow. Okay. You should you should go create an Amazon affiliate link and give it to me, and I'll put it down there. You should get paid for this, man. You're
Hey,
all
and that's a great thing.
unbiased
Yeah,
review right
unbiased
here.
review, and that's a great thing about like making products. It's and that's why I got into marketing. It's like when you make a product that people love, it's like
Yeah,
you don't have to do the promotion anymore. You make a product
right.
people love, people just talk about it.
That's true, huh? Well, I mean that
That's just
easier
free.
said than done, man.
It is.
Right?
It
Oh,
is.
why
It is.
why didn't I think of that before? Let's just make a products that people love, except instead of products that people hate. Oh man.
Yeah, yeah, and that's the same thing with softwares. People will use it. There are people who's going to love it. And there's going to be people who may not see the actual benefits of it. So, our job as marketers is, or product, marketers, to see what these needs are and then try to implement them the best we can. You know, so
You can't save them all, man.
yeah,
You can't please
yeah,
everybody at some
you
point.
have to be
You have to
very focused.
draw the line. Be like,
Yeah.
sorry, this was not meant for you. We'll do our best, but that
And
feature, yeah, we have other things to get to first, sir.
yeah, yeah, and that's true. That is true. So when you say for you, like for some audience, and
Mhm.
they just have to be okay with that. It's like it's not meant for you, and you're just gonna have to find something else. you know. Um, but yeah, and that's just true in the marketing world. Like sometimes it's just not for them. So but yeah.
I'm curious, man. What are some of the biggest surprises you've run into so far on the marketing or product development end, like things that you didn't foresee? You're like, whoa, that was we didn't think to consider that based on some feedback or just anything like that.
Ah, yeah. you know, uh, you know, there's a reason why marketers, well, anybody who works on product is we rely on data.
Uh-huh.
You know, we rely on data to make the decision for us. Well,
Okay.
not literally make the decision for us, but then tell us how users are using the product, right?
Okay.
So the misconception is like we will always go in with the mindset. It's like, okay, this is what people will want, but this is
Mhm.
what people will want, and we would add certain things that we think people want, and then
Mm.
it doesn't turn out what people actually need or
Right.
want to
Okay.
use at all. And then the way we implement it is like, well, it's kind of hard to find. It's like, and when I actually found it, it's like it would have helped me save tons of time. It's like, or well, it's like I found it, but it doesn't really make a difference. So that those are certain things that we have to kind of keep an open mind on. And it's like, okay, really observe and be in the environments where our audience are and listen to them.
Mhm.
Listen to their problems and listen to how they talk, listen to their vocabulary, listen to how they work with each other. You got to learn how their business work, like
Mm.
freelancing or whatever, and understand that, and then take those information and then put it into your product. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, 100 people, 200 people say this, 300 people say that,
Mhm.
and people like 500 people have this problem. It's like, okay, let's prioritize use, or what do people when do people see the aha moment when they're using our program,
Mhm.
our tool, right? So that's why we rely on data, and we rely on people to tell us to help us make decisions. So
So I was wondering, is there like a Facebook group where I can go and just be like, "Hey, man, this would be a good idea," or what is the easiest, fastest way to send this feedback?
the fastest way is will be just emailing us, and
Yeah.
we reply pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Where we will be creating communities, different
Yeah.
communities for editors, video editor creatives to ask questions about
Yeah.
our product. So we will have a Facebook group open. We will have a LinkedIn group open. We will have Discord open, wherever people that are
Okay.
comfortable,
I
uh,
see.
you know, you know, spending their time at Reddit,
Yeah.
Quora, and
Okay.
that will give them the best opportunity to ask questions
You're
for
ready
that.
to monitor all these things in the future.
Oh yeah,
You know the amount of work ahead of you, man. That's
oh yeah.
all. I mean, whether you do it or you're managing it, right? It's a lot to make sure, like you don't want to miss.
We're like spending
Yeah,
a ton of time to make sure that our automations are in
yeah,
place.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if we get a message from Twitter, we get a message from Facebook, it's like it automatically tells us that, okay, you know, you have a message from Facebook and they're requesting, help. It's like you
yeah,
need to answer this as soon as possible, or you lose a customer, or nothing like that. But
yeah,
those are the processes that we have to kind of set up to make sure that we get to our customers, be the best provide the best customer service that we can. Um, so
yeah.
yeah.
I would be curious to do just like a 15-minute, like future recap, man. Hey, what is this automation process you put in place, just as kind of like a business kind of how to, like, you know what, I'm curious what what we were planning on a few months ago, after the traffic started coming in, like what is the actual design flow? Because I'm really curious. It might work in
Yeah,
theory, but you might change your mind along the way, right? As you
yeah,
actually
definitely. I
get
think
into
that would
there.
be a very informative and insightful blog podcast that
A
marketers would be
follow
interested in.
a good follow up, or just a
Yeah,
reason. I think it's
yeah,
something.
exactly.
It's questions that I have, because you are thinking about it already, which is a lot of people don't really think about these things, until they get there. So it's
Yeah,
good.
exactly,
You at least
exactly.
you have a plan in mind, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yep. So yeah, I think it'll be like a very good segment in the future to kind of just overview. It's like, oh, last time we talked about this, and let's see now that you guys are open to the public, what changes have you made, and uh, how did you make the decision to make that change? I think that will be very informative, and it would help people who are interested in going to the marketing field. I think that would be like a quick segment. So yeah.
All right, and here's one thing I was thinking, and I wouldn't even know the answer, right? What is okay? So from the little demo that's been playing for behind us for a while, right?
Yeah.
You kind of get an idea, okay? And then I think that if you either get it or you don't get it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not a hard sell after that. It's not gonna be like, okay. It's more like, well, I wouldn't want to know more, like tell me. How much? Usually, if you get it, you're just like, all right, well, what do I need to pay? Oh, it's free for a while. Oh, I gotta pay $1. All right, cool. Um, what is something that's not obvious? If you could pick a feature that's not immediately obvious, that might be the breaking point to, what I'm saying? Like, what is not obvious from this video that might be super useful to someone like me, who already, like, I can see the use for it.
Yeah. I think a a not so obvious thing
Yeah.
is that it is a browser tool, right?
Hmm. Okay.
We'll often get people asking if it's a download or if it's a
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Oh,
it's a
okay.
it's a software that we have to use somewhere,
Hmm.
or if it's an app, you know. So we often get
Gotcha.
the confusion. So therefore, we made a couple of changes to include the browser on there. So,
Uh,
but yeah, that's still a little minor thing that people still kind of mistook Kobo for. It's
okay.
like, oh, is it a download program or what is it? But yeah, it's a it's a browser-based editor that you can operate. You can like
Uh,
access anywhere on the web. So
yeah, I can see how you guys just may have would assumed that, but it's not immediately obvious,
yeah,
right?
exactly. It's like, oh, it's like if you look at it and then you don't really look at the tab, it's like, oh, it's a tool. Is this a software I download? But
Yeah, I mean,
um,
I knew that because you had already taken me through my
yeah,
little demo, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
in going through this, it didn't really occur to me to take that perspective of somebody who's a little bit unsure, because I think as far as see, I'll just I'm kind of a noob in terms of this type of software, right? So I can't really say I've used any web-based video editor, right? I've used a handful of, web-based graphics, things that are kind of like a Photoshop, right? But as far as to actually edit my videos, I don't have any experience to my mind, because it's just it doesn't seem like something that's been there yet. So, I don't have a service to even think to compare it to. This would be my first foray, even like to online video editing.
Uh, Lost you there for a second.
Okay. All right. That's all right. I would just say this is my Kamua is my first foray into online video editing in the first place, because it's not something that I can even recall in recent memory that has been offered, or if it has, it's not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there are a tons of online editors, video editors out there, and they serve different purposes, and whether it's just more editor, they serve different types of niches, or
Mm-hmm.
provide a very unique, or obvious, not glitch, something that people are looking for. So like if I
Mm-hmm.
was you know, an iMovie user, and I'm getting tired of iMovie, I want to use something a little more accessible. It's like, all right, I'm going to go online and find a free online video editor and just do that instead, because
Mm-hmm.
it does the same thing and it's faster and it's easier to use. Or if if I'm a marketer and I don't have uh, Adobe Premiere Pro, it's like, okay, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to go online and find a video online editor that I can pay $25 for and do my job.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of video editors to serve different purposes, whether it's conveniency or in a very specific niche.
Okay.
For us, we're more targeted towards production and speed, and really addressing the social media realm of video production. Because that's where everything is going. And video marketing is a big topic, and productivity is a big topic as well. Because with COVID and pandemic,
Yeah,
people
of course.
have, whether they downsize or
Yeah.
they have to work from home.
Uh-huh.
They have to work fast. They have to kind of cover those losses. And with Kamua, you're able to kind of cover those losses because you're able to produce the same amount or more of the work that you were able to, because we simplify that process and we cut the middleman, kind of not the middleman, but then we cut the middle process of, okay, you don't have to spend 3 hours to look through a 15 minutes video. we do that for you, and all you have to do is just drag and drop, and when you're able to drag and drop and select the footage, the clips or shots you want onto your timeline, it's like, wow, it's like, this is amazing. It's like I can just look at what I have visually on my my shot list or storyboard and just quickly drop that into a timeline, and then I have 5, 6, 7 videos for Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, etc., TikTok. It's like I did that within 2 hours, when before I was spending 6, 7 hours, almost the whole day to do this. It's like this is definitely worth $25 a month. Exactly. So yeah.
So what I'm hearing is you're gonna have like freelancer friendly pricing, right? This is not gonna be like some enterprise. I mean, there you will have those levels, but you're not gonna start there, right? You know, you're gonna have some reasonable pricing for the one-off
Oh yeah,
freelancers.
we do.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So right now, if, shameless shameless plug. Right now we do have 3 different tiers in place. It's like, of course we have the free tier. Once we go public, we'll have the free tier, and that would just give you limited access to certain things, and then downloads and uploads. Special tier will be $25 a month, and that will give you more access, more uploads, and more space to store your assets and videos
Okay.
et cetera. And then we have the agency where it's like $100 a month, and then we have the yearly plans as well.
All right.
So
Pretty
yeah,
standard. It's
pretty standard
what
stuff.
you would expect, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So no, that's I think that's good being just upfront about, you've thought your business model out, and that's you're willing to put your money where your mouth is and say, "Hey, if you like it, this is what you're getting into." I think that's a great idea.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and you can kind of be more sure that your initial users are more serious, right? So they're
Yep,
not kind of like left in the dark. If they like this, how much they'll need to pay. They kind of, can get an idea for it up front.
yep, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's why right now it's like, yes, we are accepting beta users, but if you're like a serious, like if you meet like all of our, perfect or like nearly perfect, audience, is like, okay, let's bring this person in, and then let's start having him use our product and give us feedback,
hmm
because they're the people who's going to see the value in it.
Well, I will, and I'm happy to share this idea with any users or potential users, is as a potential like fitness influencer, right? Just
Hmm.
as we were talking about earlier,
Yeah,
take my wide angle, right? And they
yeah,
can film me, I have a certain amount of room to work with, give the AI a good background to work with, right? Do the AI a favor if I can, right?
yeah, exactly.
Don't do a background that matches. So try to give them a good, as good as I can. All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Make do it at noon. Give good contrast. All right. Anyways, and I was thinking of doing like my routine left to right, and then thinking if I can give them a good background, right? Then it would just like be like tracking me the whole time kind of deal, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I
Yeah.
think that if you could find a a background that is just, most likely doesn't have a lot of stuff behind it. Like
Yeah.
you can have trees, et cetera, but like
Yeah.
try to make sure it doesn't have like a tons of stuff or people walking back and forth, you
Right,
know.
yeah, it's gonna lose its tracking. I have to assist the AI as best as
AI is
possible,
smart. Our AI is smart, but then
Yeah,
it will it will think if you have a person that walks right in front of you and then stays in frame for a couple of seconds, and it's like our AI is like, do you want me to focus on this person? It's
yeah.
like so
Well, what if I turn around? Well, if it loses track of my face for a second, if I go to one side and I do like a 360 or 180, and then
uh
is it smart enough to like refocus or?
yeah, yeah, it's
Okay,
definitely smart enough to refocus.
okay,
So let's say if you turn around or there's a quick flash,
yeah,
it was like, okay, the RAI will notice that you're gone, or
okay.
it will stay tracking in the same area until it comes back.
I see. Okay. So I don't have to think too hard, right? Like if you just want to do a little spin at the end, you don't have to think too hard. You can just re-enter.
Yeah, of course, of course. Let's say
Okay.
you jump back and forth, and
Yeah.
then or you go
Yeah.
down and do a quick push up, or
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever how you
Yeah. Yeah.
your workout routine is. It's like
Yeah.
it'll track all of that. It's like, okay,
Okay. That's cool.
he's doing a push up. It's like, okay, and he's right here, and then there's nothing distracting, not focusing on you. It's like, okay, perfect. It'll stay on track on you, and you don't have to do a thing. You don't have to lift a finger. You just click a button and it does that for you.
Okay. Why, if I'm already really sold on digging in, if I mean at this point, if they're not sold, I don't know what else to say. It's pretty like, it's pretty exciting just to think about how it can benefit me, much less I don't, and I'm like the fitness guy. I don't know who else, like, amateur music video directors wanting to cut in, little clips, you don't have to track the video. Like even
Yep.
though you know how, you at least can recognize the time it saves. So I don't know, man. All the different positions and people that it would help. For me, I'm just thinking for my project here. I don't, you can educate on like who are the top three people, if you could say, all right, these are the best, like where you're at and the time it can save you and what you're trying to pump out. These are the people it's perfect for.
Sure. It's like so our first, like, our target audience basically, it's like will be marketers, like
Okay.
marketers who have to do video projects.
Okay.
And they don't always have the video editing team to rely on.
Okay.
Or they do, but they don't want to have to deal with the communication back and forth to make
Yeah.
an editor do certain things. They want to be able to, all right, I have this video that I just downloaded from YouTube, or our IAP, some of our projects that we filmed before, and I like this shot, I like that shot, and I'm gonna draft this up really quick and send this to our editor. And it's like, hey, these very specific frames and shot or scenes together, and add this music on there. It's like, okay, cool, because the communication is clear, and they don't have to go back and forth. It was like, oh, I thought you wanted this shot. Oh, I thought you wanted this, et cetera, et cetera. They're just like, okay, I already picked the shots that I want, and just put it together and just clean it up. Done. So that cuts that basically negates like a whole day of communication or 2 days of communication or emails back and forth. It's just, hey, I have this video I put together, and these are the shots I want. Can you put this together? Put this music on there, and get it ready for Facebook, whatever, et cetera, and done. And that's just all right. Productivity. So you have a project done. And our second audience is second target market audience is video editors who wants to really cut down editing time. People who are spending hours and they have tons of clients, or they have tons of work, and they want to not try to get it done like as fast as possible, but then like have a easier way to select the shots they want and then put it together and then get it ready for post-production, or really quickly produce something really quickly for the marketing team, or for something that's going to go out within an hour. So that's because even if you're like super fast using Premiere Pro or whatever other professional programs that all the hotkeys, you still have the same amount of work. With us, it's like, okay, done. I like this shot. I like this shot. You don't have to think a lot. Just put it together. I want this in square aspect ratio. I want this in portrait aspect ratio, and I want this to have a logo on there. Done. Export that out, download, or you just automatically send the link to the marketing team, and they download it. It's like, cool, thank you. Let's move forward.
Yeah, man, that's cool. Because I could see you having to like customize your back end for a company that, they might be able to like employ, let's say like 50 videographers, but they need to manage it at one level, and maybe you custom. That's why you're kind of taking input at this point, right? Something like that.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, because like although you might have a plan for me, what if you have a need for that kind of collaboration, and you would really have to, if you don't have it built already, maybe just custom build it and tailor it to your best clientele.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
Man, I think that's pretty amazing. I can already see how, like, even like a big enterprise company like Fox News would be out there and be like, wow, well, this we'll cut down a certain amount of time at some level, for some segments, like might not use it for everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, especially like enterprises and agencies, like they will have clients or shows that they have editors to produce tons of videos for,
like
right?
Easy B-roll, right? Free.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or several hundred editors that they had on their team can do that very quickly, and they can get these trailers and stuff out really quickly. It's like, it's gonna save the money so much time, right? It's like, oh wow, it's like you're you're done with editing that trailers for 5 movies already. It's like, we have so much time to do it, but you're done. It's like, great, let's move forward.
You might have been like perfect timing, because it's like all these media companies have been laying people off, and so they're looking for these kind of tools where they can make up for all the manpower that they just lost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so even if it's not just replacing manpower, it's just productivity, and they can do things faster. they see the value in it. It's like,
Yeah,
wow,
more efficiency just equals more profitability across the board,
exactly,
right?
exactly. And so it's like,
Yeah,
we have, let's say it's like, we just signed up 3 more clients. It's like, do we have the capacity? It's
yeah,
like, yes, because we're using Kamua to save a lot of time there.
yeah,
But
yeah.
if they didn't have Kamua, it's like, okay, no, we can probably squeeze them in, but we can probably squeeze one client, but you're gonna have to say no to the other two.
Right,
You
right.
know, so
I mean, I think if a single freelancer can see the value, I think anything bigger than that can all kind of just see the value, or at least they should, right?
it's fine. And
Yeah,
like I said, like going back to our conversation before, it's like, it's not, it may not be for you, and that's okay. No hard feelings. And there are some creatives out there who rather spend the hours to nitpick everything, and that's okay. That's the artistic side of it, and we're not trying to replace those people, and we're just making sure we're trying to just help productivity. Like I said, it's like AI, our AI isn't to replace editors, is to help editors and creatives. And because the misconception about AI is like, oh no, it's gonna take our jobs, it's gonna do our everything. It's like, can it do this? Can it do that? Can it actually construct a full video without me telling it? It's like, no, it will get there. Like it will
I
get there,
I
but then
wish
it's
I
like,
wish it did. I don't want to do this any of that stuff
of
anymore.
course,
I wish I could
everyone's
just be like Siri, but bullshit a freaking story and do it and hire the actors and go film it, you know? If it could get there, I'd be the first to sign me up, you know? Unfortunately for us marketers, we still have to do some work.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like no, it's not going to replace you. It still needs someone to operate it. It's
Yeah.
like, it's like machines. It's like, it's coming. AI is coming, and the same thing that happens with, like, like several hundred, like, decades ago. It's like machine comes in, or that's a bad example. I'm saying, uh let's say uh, um, let's say computers, like,
Yeah.
video editing, uh, um, like, when video editing started with like non-linear, like linear editing, right? So they
Yeah.
have these big rolls of tape, and then they have to like cut the film,
Yeah.
and then so many processes, like they have to
Yeah.
cut the film
Yeah.
physically,
Yeah.
physically.
How
You know,
annoying. How annoying.
it is,
Oh
right?
my
And
God.
when a computer comes out and you're able to do that within a program
Yeah.
without needing a
Woo.
gigantic computer,
Better
it's
learn a
like,
new skill soon.
exactly, if you're not
Right?
going to learn the new skills
Yeah.
to learn how to operate that, it's like you're going to lose your job. you know
Well,
so
it's the lazy, man. The lazy may not survive, right? It's not that difficult to learn, but it does require, a different level of. But it doesn't take the human out of the picture. It
yeah,
just requires a human that's willing to learn some new skills to
exactly,
survive, right?
exactly. So it's like,
Right.
you either learn how to use it or you're going to fall behind.
Yeah.
And AI is coming. There's tons of, AI is getting more advanced, and people are creative. They can do many different things with AI. And
Speaking of AI, man, I told you I would kind of go back and forth, but I
yeah,
did
yeah.
make a note that you kind of glossed right over space, and I had like thought of like, hey, Elon Musk, and then this guy is talking about space. I want to kind of hear, and kind of to round out the podcast. We were almost at the hour mark. We're kind of
Yeah,
tipping
yeah.
the scale, so I wanted to kind of before I forget, because that was like. You don't just like touch on space and never mind. No, I think the audience might want to be like, hey, didn't this guy, reminds me of Elon Musk talking about these ideas. So let's end the podcast with what is
uh,
this? Let's talk about what? Let's talk
Space,
about it.
space. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's like, I don't know. I love space because it's like anything's possible, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if you game, it's like being a child and you're like kind of diving into your imagination. It's like, it's anything's possible. Like, dragons could be possible, and that's how I feel about space. It's like,
Mm,
and you know, because if we're able to exist here in, like, on Earth, and then have all these resources, and have all this technology, that's, we're just basically advancing, like, our GPUs weren't even, like, as powerful as today, and we're continually advancing. Like, what if there's like a more advanced sort of, like, aliens out there? That's great. That's crazy. It's like,
there's gotta be.
whoa.
There's gotta be,
It's
right?
like, what if they're actually like achieve space travel? that's amazing. What if there's actually, like, so to kind of just, we have, like, even like, discover or research the rest of our ocean. We still have like a ton of things to learn about our ocean, and there's tons of different creatures that are lying in our ocean, right?
Yeah.
So what if there are crazier creatures that are out there,
There's gotta be.
hundreds of
Oh
light
my
years away,
God. Yeah,
and
there's gotta be. Gotta be.
exactly, and it's like things that we imagine in video games is like, yeah, it's possible,
There's gotta be. There's gotta be. You
right?
can't imagine something unless it's possible. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's like,
If I could think
it's
of
like,
it, it's possible.
what if it's like, what if there's actually a planet where there's actually dragons? It's like, well,
It's probably weirder than
that's fairly
dragons, all
possible.
right? It might be weirder than a dragon.
Exactly. So I just love space because
Yeah.
there's so many possibilities, and if I am still alive the day when they achieve space travel, that I
Yeah.
will be amazed. I will be happy, and
It'd be a
you
nice,
know,
nice thing to have lived through to see, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
wow, we achieved space travel, and we're able to travel to any of the planets in our system, solar system, and like actually really observe how that planet works. That's
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, I'll be amazed. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
even if it's just Mars, even if it's just, what if we can get to Saturn and like really study how the ring around the Saturn works, or Jupiter's, like,
Mm-hmm.
that would be amazing. It's like,
Hey, who knows how close we are based on the strides that Elon Musk is making in the private world, and
yeah,
I don't know, maybe Jeff Bezos may have joined. I don't know, he's doing some a little something about in space too. I don't really follow these things. Maybe you do.
there. I have followed a little bit of it. I think China just landed on the
Yeah.
moon, and they just did something on the
Oh,
moon.
what? How do I not know these? Oh, by the way, China, isn't this a kind of a big deal? I don't really pay attention.
Yeah, it's like,
What?
it's like another space race. So
What?
Mars, some billionaires are reaching to mine asteroids, and
Is this for
I don't
real?
know,
Did they just make this shit up, or did China really land on the moon? It's
no,
like,
China did really land on the
are they
moon.
still
They put
there?
something there.
Are they
I don't
still
know, I
there?
forgot what it is. No, I don't think so.
No,
But they
okay.
put something there.
Okay.
But it's like there's tons of like things to do in space. It's like
Yeah.
mining, or because there's an asteroid that's trying to mine all these steel or iron. It's worth trillions of dollars. It's crazy. So if we're able to kind of like find a very unique, you know, material, such as like I was gonna reference like Black Panthers is like meteorite steel, but I forgot what that I forgot that is. Then if we're able to find like any types
Yeah.
of like materials that's like nuclear or just powers and that just gives us energy for like years, it's like that would be amazing. It's like that will help us advance
Is
in
is that is that
technology.
is that what ties back into the repurposing food? Maybe finding a more powerful energy source.
In a way, it's like if we're able to like travel, expand our production, and advance our technology to make things more efficient. You know, that's just where it is. Is like if we're able to make these things more efficient and not have to worry about resources running out, that's that's the goal. That's money. Yeah,
Okay, and what
yeah.
if you were to leave the audience with a couple thoughts? It could be either, business related. You can kind of tie in a little bit of both. Drop some business knowledge. Drop some, how can someone, if they can't solve your problem, how can they, do some good on that side as working towards the goal.
I think everyone should be. Um, I don't know. I guess what I would like people to leave with, it's like, not just Kamua, but then like as a general kind of uh, life thing, is being open minded. I mean, a lot of people
Open minded.
can be, you know, oh, it's like I learned this, and it's like, I don't want to learn that anymore. It's like being open minded, being coachable, being able to like take in new information, uh, and understand how society is going to evolve or going. That's it makes your imagination run crazy. So, but
Man.
yeah, I would say just keep an open mind, take in information, understand it, don't be ignorant about it, and run with it. So yeah.
Man, I love that. That's probably the best way to end anything is stay open-minded, guys. Yeah, and with that, like I have like a minute-ish end credits, but just like man, I think that was good. I always wonder, man, how do we even go for an hour, man? Like
Come to an understanding of
I'm an
life.
introvert, you know. I don't know.
If you really,
I don't know about you. Are
really
you
wanna
used to
know,
like
click
giving
subscribe.
speeches?
Oh yeah, I do.
If you
Sometimes
really?
not as much as anymore.
listener wanna know what's
You know, I used to get
going
invited to
on,
like
click
small, medium-sized
subscribe.
conferences and
What?
colleges,
Busting
and kind of
through
just
the
What?
rap.
You're,
talk
you're a
about
seasoned speaker.
talk about
Cat,
careers
tat,
and stuff.
mat, sat, black, hat,
And
fat, black.
how I got into
Just
a lot of
click
careers, a lot of professional
subscribe.
stuff. It's like, oh,